Let's fight. Let's fight, guys. A very good evening to each and every one of you. Great to see you guys in the ring this evening, wherever you guys are joining us from, at home here in Guyana or around the world. Let's fight, guys. Some of you are joining us via Twitter. Some of you are joining us via YouTube. Some of you are joining us via Facebook. Yes, y'all fast. Welcome in the ring, guys. We are privileged nonetheless that each and every one of you are here with us this evening. Let's fight, let's fight, let's fight, let's fight. We want to feel that bell in our bones. Let's fight, guys. A very good evening to each and every one of you, wherever you guys are joining us from. We got information for you. We got personalities for you guys. We are covering what's happening.
Brass 100%.
Yeah.
Mold casted.
Apologies there. I'm getting some feedback. Yeah, we're covering what's happening. We're covering what's happening in that race out of the PNCR for leader and also other leadership capacities there in the PNCR. PNCR decides 2021 road to the 21st biannual delegates congress. We're going to be following that this evening as well. We're going to be talking to some of the folks who are a part of that race, ladies and gentlemen. So I advise you, I caution you to stay with us, folks. Strap yourselves in, get your popcorn ready. Great to see so many of you guys already with us, already in the ring. Guys, you know what you got to do when you come on. Share the live stream. We want to see those emojis as well. We trust that we're on all the channels that matter. We have been cross-posted to the places that matter and that you guys are picking us up out there loud and clear. Selena Fraser, good night to see you. Selena is one of our favorites, joining us all the way from Ontario, Canada. And Selena is one of those people who puts her money where her mouth is, or put her mouth where her money is. Both all two. And we really want to thank her for being one of those people who support us here in the ring. She's my friend. And a big shout out to you, Selena, Natasha, Joseph, all the other folks out there, Diane Fordyce, Andrew Cuthbert. Good to see all of you guys in the ring this evening. Really, really privileged to have all of you here with us. And we got quite a packed fight card for you guys this evening. Great to see each and every one of you out there joining us, guys, as you come on board. Janet Coates, why don't you share the live stream this evening? Great to see you there. Natasha, Joseph, and Laverne, Harry Chiran, Kelvin Passad. Great to see you as well. All you other fantastic, lovely, wonderful, good-natured, uncontroversial people. Good to see each and every one of you out there. It is my privilege, guys. It is my pleasure. See, when I stick up my chest, excited. It is my privilege and my pleasure to have each and every one of you in the ring with us. Guys, you see the accent still lingering there. One of you in the ring with us, guys. And we crave your indulgence this evening. And we thank you for your support. We thank you guys for your support. We need so much more support, guys. You, our friends out there, you know who you are. You know who you are, guys. And again, we are inviting you to come on board with us, our friends. Come on board with us and partner with us. Help us to grow. Help the work that we do here to continue bringing you credible and valid information. You are our constituents out there. So guys, come on board and partner with us. $5 US per month, 10, 15, 20 US per month. You know, if you all say we don't do good work here in the ring, you are stifling your conscience. You know, if you all say that. And so, guys, don't say that somebody else got this for you. Pansy Lynch Douglas, don't say Don Nelson got this for you and Don gonna pay your share. Samuel Harry, don't say Petula is going to do the bit for you, right? Don't say that Petula is going to, give a $5 US or $10 US for you. Petula Boy's got to do it for herself. Shirley Witters, good to see you there. Michael Fraser, guys, come on board. Come on board with us. I'm telling you guys, no amount is too small. Deborah Gordon and Joylyn Cook. And we need your help here to keep growing as a program, to continue doing what we do, to keep the lights on, to do some of the projects that we do in communities. We're going to be telling you more about that, but specifically too, for building out our program in a more professional manner so that we can speak to you consistently as our constituents on so many issues. And again, we got so many platforms available for you guys. Well, not so many. We got platforms available to you guys. We have the Cash App platform. It's the $ in the ring 592. We have PayPal. It's in the ring 592 at gmail.com. We have MMG. It's 627-6963. That's our MMG number. Any queries, any guidance you need, you can WhatsApp us to that number as well. 627-6963 is our MMG number. And then we're also available, guys, via the platforms, Western Union and MoneyGram. So our friends there, you help us along to grow from strength to strength. And those of you who've already been helping us, guys, thank you so much. It means the world to us. Vanessa Calendar, we need you. Vanessa, Bernadette James, we need you as well. And Deborah Gordon, all you fantastic, lovely folks. Denise, London Welshman, lovely people. Paul D'Angelo and Leonard Jacobs, Albert Morgan. Come on down, Albert. We need you as well. We need all of you beautiful, fantastic people to come on board, guys, and to partner with us. Is going to really help us in a very, very meaningful and special way to continue to do what we do in meaningful ways as well, expand our program. And again, guys, trust us. Trust us the way you trust us to bring the credible and valid information to you. Trust us when we say you're going to see very shortly what we have been doing with our time and what we have been doing with the resources you guys have entrusted into our care. Great to see all of you out there this evening. Guys, are you ready to fight? Are you ready to fight? I know about you, but are you ready to fight, guys? A very good evening to each and every one of you again, and welcome in the ring. So glad to see so many of you. I feel happy in a bigly way. Laverne Duncan, Laverne, your family. Ebon Lamy, good to see you, and George and Ruina Cummins. Well, by Ruina's Facebook profile photo, I know who she's backing. Roy Garraway, great to see you as well. Good to see all you lovely, fantastic, beautiful people out there. As I said to you guys, coming up a little later on in the program, we're going to have one of the contenders for the leader of the PNCR position, Dr. Richard Van West Charles himself, guys. And the very same way we had that no holds bar interview last night and discussion with the other hopeful, Mr. Aubrey Norton, political scientist. We're going to be having an equally vibrant, robust discussion with Dr. Richard Van West Charles, and he's going to come up a little later on in our program, and we're going to be talking with him. And we have one other person who's going to be joining us during the course of the program, and we're going to tell you about that just a little bit. But Dr. Richard Van West Charles is going to be joining us this evening, and we got a plethora of questions. We have a barrage of artillery to fire at Dr. Richard Van West Charles, and we know that he's a fighter. We know that Dr. Richard Van West Charles is a fighter, and we look forward to that engagement with him. So, guys, that is coming up. We are fired up. We are ready to go. We are locked and loaded, and really happy to see that so many of you have tuned into our program this evening. Share the program across social media. Guys, you know what you got to do. You know what the instructions are, but just in case, just in case you guys have forgotten, allow me to remind you, right? Because the Ringsiders know what they got to do. Ringsiders know what they got to do. You got to assemble in the trenches. And we ain't taking prisoners. We are not taking any prisoners, right? Natasha Joseph, we know you're going to partner with us. Don't take prisoners tonight. When them trenches show up, you know you got to dismantle them. Scatter the meditation. George Campbell, we know you're going to partner with us, right? And you got to go in the trenches and fight. Don't let them trenches get away with nothing. Like Mark Ramatar and Raul Ramatar and those guys. And, you know, good to see you, Yvonne Daly and Alexis Arthur, all you fantastic folks. Marla Alicock, great to see you there as well. And Marla says, and I endorse good night to all the legal viewers. We will say all the valid viewers. And we thank you guys for the credible comments. So we know the Ringsiders are going to assemble. Assemble there, guys. Really great to see each and every one of you. You know what you got to do. You got to shoot your shots. You got to shoot your shots. We got to fight. You got to shoot your shots. You got to shoot your shot. That's what's happening. We got to fight, folks. Great to see each and every one of you in the ring this evening again, guys. It's our privilege, always our privilege, having you guys share the live stream wherever you are. Share it back to your profiles. I see Kesh Sharma is there. Great to see you as well. Share it back to your profiles. Share it to your pages. Share it to WhatsApp. Send it as a link in a email if you have to some colleague to tune in, to log on. Guys, we are fired up, as I said, and we are ready to go, ready to go, ready to go. And again, great to see so many of you on the live stream this evening. Again, also coming up this evening, I'm going to be talking with the one and only MP Shurwayne Holder. Now, Shurwayne name getting called. MP Shurwayne Holder name getting called. Your name was called last night in part of that interview with political scientist Aubrey Norton and leader hopeful of the PNCR. His name was called. I'm going to ask Shurwayne his thoughts about that. He seemed to be one of the young people in demand. He seemed to be one of the Shurwayne back with us a little later on. Folks, bear with us briefly as we get things on the way at our end. You see, we are fired up, guys, and we are ready to go. Coming up, Shurwayne himself. Bear with us for a second. Yep. So that's how it's going to go. That's part of the fight card this evening, guys. And we can't have our stuff buffering here. Right? We got to solve that. We're not going to have anything buffering at our end here. So we're looking forward to talking with Shurwayne Holder, MP Shurwayne Holder, guys. And I'm fired up. I am ready to go. And I hope you guys are ready as well. Let us get into the fight card. Great to see all of you who have joined us, guys. Wherever you're joining us from this evening, again, it is our privilege and our pleasure to have each and every one of you in the ring with us. Let's get to the fight card. And we were struggling whether this issue is an international one or it's a regional issue. But nonetheless, guys, from around the world, we look at what USAID is doing in the Caribbean. And kudos to the USAID team, because we know that they have just given $2.5 million US as urgent COVID assistance. And some of that is going to come to benefit us. Some of that assistance is going to the Eastern Caribbean region and places like our very own Guyana, with electricity, the Bahamas rather, and Trinidad and Tobago. They're going to be benefiting from this 2.5 million COVID assistance coming out of USAID. And so kudos to the USAID team again for making another timely intervention, helping the Caribbean region to mitigate the ravages of COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, that being said, photo of the day. Picture of the day. This is one of my favorite points in the evening. Photo of the day. And you're going to be surprised where this is coming out from. Let me make sure I have it in my notes. I want to make sure I have the notation right. I know this photo of the day goes to the one and only guys, and we've told y'all so much about this. Right? You could ask who Barrett Jack is. They can tell you it's a scam. They can ask who Frank Anthony is. They say, waste man, Frank Anthony. You can ask what some other people, and you can get some description. Some you may not like. The trenches may not like it. May or may not like it. But when you ask about air fun, you know you're gonna oh, air fun is just air fun. That is what you're gonna hear. Air fun is just air fun. What can we say? Now air fun lash out today. Lash out in a licking yellow. As one person put it, a licking yellow. a licking Lenora market yellow. That was the comment I saw. I was trying to get it properly. A licking Lenora market yellow shirt. Right? I don't know, folks. We don't know if this is a wink. If this is a wink air fun giving us for an intervention, because we know some of them they give me some wink the other day, some green and yellow we saw in some other places. But this is air fun. This is y'all, the trenches. Is y'all leader. Right? And he's attending here virtually the 23rd special meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government. Right? It's a CARICOM meeting. Air fun in this licking yellow tight shirt, sleeve shirt. Right? The licking Lenora Market yellow shirt. The 23rd special meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the CARICOM, of the Caribbean Community rather. The 23rd special meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community CARICOM, which took place virtually just this afternoon. Right? So this is Irfan representing we from Shiv Chandrapal Drive. Representing you trenches. And he licking yellow little shirt. Right? All the other heads of state, Irfan is just Irfan. Ask about Mia, they can tell you, oh, Mia is a stateswoman on the world stage. She represents the Caribbean well. She is fluent. She's articulate. She's an orator. Ask about Irfan from Guyana. Irfan is just Irfan. So, we took a peek at some of the other folks attending this very important 23rd special meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community. Everybody decked out nicely in their suits and so on. And then we got Irfan, who is just Irfan. Irfan, who is just Irfan. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all better share the live stream. I know some of y'all gonna be a little shame for share because Irfan is just Irfan. But share the live stream. We a little shame to be can't lie. When we see them other leaders comport themselves on the regional stage, on CARICOM stage, we a little shame too. I never lie. Folks, unity have arrived. Unity has arrived. Unity has arrived. And here we're focusing on oil and gas because I don't know some of y'all read the status on our Facebook page or in other places and you don't come to some conclusions and getting vexed. Unity has arrived, but we're talking about oil and gas here. Folks, the other big boat, I ain't gonna tell with FPS and all them things to kerfuffle y'all. The other big boat that is pumped the oil come. The other big boat that is pumped the island. We paying for this, We paying a lot of money for this boat. A lot of money for it. And the name of the boat is Unity. The Liza Unity. You got the Liza Destiny. This is the Unity. That's right. If only we had unity in this country. If only. I love y'all. I love all of you. But I know some of you got some different feelings towards me. Because y'all different. Share the live stream, folks. Y'all just different. And y'all know it. So unity has arrived. To pump out we oil, fetch out we money, and gone. Folks, how much are y'all feeling this oil economy that we say we have? How many of you feel it on a day-to-day basis? Your pockets heavier since we pumping oil 2 years plus now? Your quality of life is different. The things that you eat different. You eat out at the Marriott maybe every weekend. Or you go up the East Coast to James Bond's place there. Right? How has the quality of your life improved? You no longer have to worry about your light bill and all these various things. How it going by your side? How it going? Unity has arrived though. Unity has arrived, and a lot of people making a lot of money. A lot of people making a lot of money. You know why? Because the PPP doing a lot of nonsense. And the trenches know that, oh, y'all don't stifle your conscience. That being said, folks, before we get into an argument in this one, the big boy that is pumped the aisle, it come. The next one, Unity. Unity. It has arrived, folks. That being said, signs of the times. Signs of the times. And you all know we've been talking about Bringsley Horatio Ben. Bringsley Horatio Ben. Yep. Installed Minister of Home Affairs. PPP ain't got a crime plan. They ain't got no plan. They ain't got an economic plan. They ain't got a crime plan. They ain't got a health plan. They don't have an education plan. So crime is spiraling. Crime is spiraling out of control. Just recently, boat operator robbed $1.5 million. And according to the report, out of Newsroom, I think we're picking this up from, police on the Essequibo coast are currently searching for a man who reportedly shot Mohammed Gafur. That's the name of the boat operator, Mohammed Gafur, at his Springland homes early this morning. Yep. Gafur, 36, was shot in his left arm during a robbery at his premises. And again, he was robbed of $1.5 million worth in cash and jewelry. Gafur apparently is a popular boat operator there in Springlands, and he had just returned from an area called Buck Hall when he was confronted by a lone gunman. He was trying to open the door to his home at the time when he was confronted by this gunman. According to police, Gafur was held at gunpoint and told not to move. Don't move. He was then told to go upstairs and hand over the cash and jewelry. According to the report, the gunman ransacked his house, and after he got the items, the gunman and Gafur ended up fighting. We say, folks, get them the thing. It's not your own, it's their own. They come for it, right? And Ben Bringsley Horatio Ben, they're the enablers. They create the enabling environment by not putting any proper systems in place. So they ended up in this squabble, according to the report. And Gafur, Badman Gafur, the boat operator, reportedly slammed the door, causing the suspect to discharge around. Here, what happened next? The bullet passed through the door and managed to hit Gafur again on his left arm. The man's 3 children and his wife were inside the house at the time, and they were left traumatized. Obviously, they were left traumatized. Folks, you can stifle your conscience or you can accept the truth. You can accept the facts. Crime was managed way, way better under the last administration. Stifle your conscience if you want, trenches. Right? Crime was handled much better under the last administration. Right? And a bit of reprieve for the police. You all see a balancing it out. I can look for all of the crime stories that were absolutely negative and say, hey, this is who they are. But a bit of reprieve, holy press, a bit of reprieve. This gentleman here was busted with 4.7 million worth in marijuana. Them guys going big. Go big or go home. Devendra Sukhdeo, gone big, 4.7 million worth in marijuana. Devendra Sukhdeo. Yep. According to the report we have, this 37-year-old man is now in police custody, or in the custody rather of the Customs and Anti-Narcotics Unit, after he was nabbed just yesterday with more than 30 pounds, more than 30 pounds of local and foreign marijuana. This is the guy who understands the species. Local and foreign marijuana. Right? Local and foreign marijuana. According to the report again, Kanu identified the suspect, Devendra Sukhdeo, of Republic Park. Man, living in a fancy area too. Well, he doing a lot of business to afford him on the East Bank. Republic Park on the East Bank. Kanu said that based on information, they intercepted a motor car being driven by the man in the vicinity of Rahman Park on the East Bank. And there they found this 30 pounds of marijuana with a street value of 4.7 million. Go big or go home. Right? You don't want to do the time, don't do the crime. So we're looking to see how this moves along. And last evening, we told you them boys and K, or we should say them girls now. Them boys and girls don't care, because in an update to this story, we have learned that this gentleman, this amputee, who we featured last evening, that a woman has been held and a young girl. A woman and a girl has been held in connection with the killing of this shopkeeper there in Region 3. And this is one of the stories we touched on last evening. And we're happy to see again that there's some movement where this is concerned. Right? So the 2 persons have been held thus far as regards this story here. Because again, who is safe in this country? The man has a little business there, plying his trade, trying to make a life for himself. Intuition housing scheme. His name is Keith Richards Hohenkirk, 59, an amputee. Right? And again, according to the reports, he was found dead by his neighbors. The report said he was attacked by unknown suspects. Well, at that time. Now, 2 persons have since been held. 2 persons have since been held. So we're watching this as well to see where it goes. And then, guys, we're going to have an update for you as soon as possible where this is concerned. And on the COVID front, ladies and gentlemen, we spoke about USAID helping us there in the region, of which Guyana is going to benefit from all of this fantastic amount of money. $2.5 million to help us to combat and to confront COVID-19. Thanks to the team, the USAID team, and those persons who were helping us on that front, folks. But things are getting better home here. The amount of money they have poured into fighting COVID, and it's not getting any better. At all. It's not getting any better at all. And so just today we are learning that children aged 5 to 11 years old could get the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine as soon as next week. As soon as next week. Folks, let me be honest with you. I don't know if I trust this administration enough to give my 5 to 11-year-old a COVID vaccine. I don't know about that. I'm not at that place yet. As an adult, I have made decisions for me. But on that front, I'm still processing. But that is the information at the hour that from next week, as early as next week, children from age 5 to 11 could have the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine available to them. That is the information on that front. And as we always say in this program, guys, get all the information you'll need. Get all the information you need, all the information that is available that helps you to make an intelligent choice. And you know we're coming out of the, well, not coming out of, there is the My Body, My Choice campaign. So whether you choose to vaccinate or not vaccinate, that is your choice. I would say as an adult, vaccinate. But we've seen too many unexplained stories here with young children and vaccines and all of that. One of them, we had the parents on this program quite recently. 3 negative tests said he was COVID negative, and yet hospital staff there in New Amsterdam kept insisting he has COVID. And you guys know the outcome by now. He lost his life. They intubated him, right? Intubated him. And we know the result of that. And so we are watching that to see some of the improvements where that is concerned, some of the information that is going to be forwarded as to how we should be treating our children. We saw a young lady in the interior who lost her life the very same way, or was that a young man? The report said he alone went to the clinic to get vaccine, lost his life. So we need to see some more guidance from the government where our kids are concerned. Some more guidance, more information in the public domain. And that being said, October alone, thus far, today is the 25th. I know in some places, it's the 26th. In some places, might be already the 27th. Depends on which part of the globe you're getting us from. Some places, persons watch us late. It's 5 hours ahead where they are. Right? For October alone, we got some days left. That's the point I'm making. It's only 26, 27. 100 persons have died. 100. You know, if 4 months ago, 5 months ago, in 1 month, 100 persons had lost their lives to COVID-19, we would have been shocked. We would have been shocked. But here it is just another month under the administration. Right? And it comes back, ladies and gentlemen, to that theory. And we trust that you guys are sharing the live stream wherever you are. It comes back to that theory that if you get a frog, for instance, and you put it in a pot of ordinary room temperature water, you can swim around. If you put heat under that pot and you raise the temperature consistently, you can stay in the same pot and swim around. That's what we're doing here. But if you throw a frog in a pot of boiling water, it's going to try to jump out right away. Again, if 4 or 5 months ago we had 100 deaths in 1 month, it would have been alarming. We'd trying to shut the country down, but we in the pot boiling, the temperature increasing slowly, and all of we just going along. Well, some of y'all, not all of us, just going along. And that's what's happening here. So 100 have died in October alone, and we have 66 recorded cases. You know the contention was, ladies and gentlemen, you know what the contention was? The contention was, oh, more tests are needed. Frank used to come and boast how many tests they're doing and how many test sites and so on, but the death's still going up. How many vaccines we are giving out, but the death's still going up. So there's a mismatch somewhere. Last evening, guys, moving on. Last evening, we give you guys an elections petition update. We gave you guys an election petition update. And we want to do that very, very briefly again in our program because we have some additional information where the elections petition is concerned. And guys, if you know somebody, all of us should be interested in this. We have a vested interest in this. You're going to send this live stream to them, share it to their pages, tag them if need be. But we are made to understand that Mr. Roysdale Ford, who is one of the lead attorneys on the election petitions case, 88 and 99, would have asked the court for some more time. And the court has actually granted they have been apologies there. Our internet is doing all kinds of stuff this evening. They have been pressing the court for a determination very, very quickly on this matter. If you ain't got nothing to hide, why are you hurrying? Why are you hurrying? You ain't got nothing to hide. Why? Where you hurrying going? So the case has now been, they have, as I said, Mr. Roysdale Ford, who is the shadow Minister of Legal Affairs and Attorney General on the opposition side, and also a very competent and qualified attorney at law, senior counsel, as a matter of fact. The Court of Appeal has granted him some time to look at that matter, and it comes up again. This is, again, is election petition 99, it comes up for hearing on November 26th. Right? According to the report I have here, Chancellor Yvette Cummins, supposed to be Chancellor Acting Yvette Cummins, granted Mr. Ford time to make his submissions, and the attorneys have been granted 7 days to make their responses to Mr. Ford's submission. Once they are filed, the Chancellor made it clear that matters that are not directly related to the previous arguments will not be entertained. Matters that are not directly related to the previous arguments filed will not be entertained. And again, the matter will come up on November 26th. Right? November 26th for hearing. So guys, put that on your calendar. Put that on your calendar, guys. And we are getting into the other phase of our program. And as I promised you guys, we were going to have MP Shurwayne Holder with us. We're going to talk with him first for a little bit, and then we're going to have the other aspect, folks, of our program. He is already in the studio. We're going to talk with Mr. Shurwayne Holder, Member of Parliament, a little bit on why he named Colin, folks, because the aspect of the program we are now heading into, the aspect, folks, coming up, MP Shurwayne Holder is the main event, guys, the main event, and you guys are going to want to stay with us and stick around because we are moving along. We are moving along. Again, great to see so many guys in the ring, so many of you in the ring this evening. It's our pleasure and privilege to have each and every one of you with us tonight. Stay tuned, guys. Let me powder my nose and come back. Some of y'all impatient. Some of you guys so impatient. Y'all say, oh Lord, the intro taking long. The intro taking long. Great to see you guys there, out there this evening. And as we said, we are covering, guys, the PNCR decides 2021, the road to the 21st biannual delegates Congress there of the PNCR. We promise we're going to have candidates every night. We're going to have some of the personalities weighing in on what is happening, and MP Shurwayne Holder is one such personality. We want to hear from him this evening, and then we're going to have the main event, Dr. Richard Van Westchars following. So you guys are going to want to share the live stream as we get into this aspect of our program. The PNCR decides 2021, the road to the 21st biannual delegates Congress. Great to see all of you guys in the ring this evening. And I know the internet service is doing its own thing tonight. But guys, we are focused, we are fired up, and we are ready to go. We are ready to go, guys. Let's fight. We want you guys to share the live stream wherever you guys are joining us from. Let's fight, guys. Great to see all of you guys there. And I welcome now MP, the one and only MP Shurwayne Holder. I do think we have Shurwayne with us. And yes, there he is, guys. MP, a very good evening to you.
Good evening, Sharad, and a special good evening to your listening viewers.
Your name calling, your name calling, your name calling.
Second time is that time again. So
awesome. Great to see you there. We know that you're on the ground there in Region 2, Pomeroon, Supernam region, doing work on the ground there. And because your name has been called, and because you belong to this great party, the PNCI, we want to get your thoughts generally on how the race is going thus far. Let us start there.
Okay, Sharad, let me just say first and foremost that I believe it is going well. So far, we have, as you know, we have 3 persons that have indicated their interest in becoming the leader of the party in the forms of Aubrey Norton, Joe Harmon, and Dr. Van Westers.
Yeah.
I must say to the viewers, all those who are looking, all the party members and followers and the general public, that I, Shurwayne Holder, believe that any of these 3 candidates is capable and competent enough to become the next leader of our great party. So I want to lay that on the floor from the inset.
You're tabling that motion there. And what do you think in a general sense people should be looking for in not only the leader of the party, but we know that you guys are electing several leaders there. What should people be looking for in the next leaders of the party, the next cadre of leaders of the party?
Okay, thanks for that question. Sharad, there are a number of things that I personally would be looking for, or I'm looking for, and I would be happy to share it with you. Firstly, I think that our supporters, our members, should be looking to a leader that can first and foremost unite our party. You know, after coming out of government, you have all sorts of things that would happen with any political party. It is not unique to the PNC alone. Any political party, when the PPP got out of government, I'm sure they had their bit of ups and downs within their party. So I would say one of the most important factors, or one of the most important characteristics of that leader that we're looking for, is the fact that that person should be the one candidate or the best person that can unify the party, unify our support base also. Not only the party, but the support base. Because when you get to elections, the broader election, then you get to your support base. So it is very important that that person, possess that ability to be a team player and to unify the party, first and foremost. Secondly, I would want to say that they must have a plan. Without a shadow of a doubt, I'm certain that each one of these candidates have their own plans, but the membership should be looking to see who has the best plan. And for me personally, it's the best plan to transform the party. That is for me personally. And when I say transform the party, there are several things that you can look to. Firstly, let me say, number one, when I speak about transforming the party, I mean, who can turn the party into an elections machinery?
An elections winning machinery.
Exactly. Not only an elections machinery, but a winning elections machinery. You're spot on. You cannot be a party that just wakes up during elections time and do what you got to do, and then after elections you fall back to sleep. You have to be constantly in elections mode. We have a petition that is on the table there in the courts currently. And so our party must be prepared to go into an election at any given time. So that is one of the points I want to make. Another point on the transformation, I would be looking to a leader who would want to include youth, get more youths into the party, and I would say bring more diversity. Let me put it that way. Broaden the diversity then within the party. Every Guyanese must be able to identify with the PNCR. Every Guyanese, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of religion, whatever. You must be able to say, look, this is my home. This can be my home. You can identify with the PNCR. So I am looking for that kind of quality in a leader, that kind of transformation. I'm also looking on the transformation for someone who can make the party self-sustaining. We cannot be, when election time comes around, you gotta go begging here and begging there for support. You have to have a structure in place where the party can earn,
Yeah.
And also it's not only about elections, but it's about your ability to help your supporters, to help your comrades. So I am also looking in that direction. And also I am looking at on the transformation again. We've got to transform this party into a party that cares for its membership, that cares deeply for its membership. So there are a number of other things that I can say on the transformation, but I know you have one of the candidates coming up, so
Yes,
I don't want to take too long. Right?
Yeah.
And here is another important point. So we did unity, we did transformation, and there are a bunch of items on the transformation that we can agree on. But one of the biggest points, one of the most important points, is a leader that is competent and capable of taking on the PPP, beating them, and getting us back into government. Sherrod, let me say this. Let me say this to your listening viewers. I don't have any doubt whatsoever in my mind that we can beat the PPP. I don't have any doubt whatsoever in my mind. But I believe that we must give ourselves the best opportunity, the best chance to beat the PPP. And to do that, we must select the best candidate.
Fantastic.
That is what I want to leave with our party supporters and party comrades and your listening viewers on that topic.
Fantastic. So then let us turn our attention to Dr. Richard Van Der Charles and see whether he's one of those candidates. Shurwayne, thanks very much for stopping by and sharing your insights with us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharon.
Awesome. Guys, there you have it. The Member of Parliament, Shurwayne Holder. I can see we have already Dr. Richard Van Der Charles is in the green room in the studio, and I think he is ready to go. And without any further ado, I think we have to do a drum roll to bring Dr. Richard Van Der Charles out. Yep, guys, you all know we extra in the ring. and we have him in the studio, and let us welcome, without any further ado, the one and only Dr. Richard Van Der Charles. Doc, a very good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, sure.
You might want to center yourself up a little bit to make sure that we're getting the best review. Great. I know when the screen closes up, we get that effect. Dr. Richard Van Der Charles, again, a very good evening, and great to see you, sir.
Good to be here, and good evening to your listeners.
All right. So we intend to have a very no-holds-barred, frank, candid discussion with you this evening, and we hope you are ready as well.
I am ready.
Great. So, Dr. Van Wishar's GKH Lal, or rather GHK Lal, who has been writing about the PNCR race, called your name, as we said, Dr. Van Wishar's, your name calling. And part of what he said in a recent column is that since I now make a living sharing unsolicited assessments of candidates for leader of the PNC, I keep going. Dr. Richard Van Wishar's for PNCR leader has a certain strength to it. He refers to you as the dark horse. Are you the dark horse in this race? And what are your strengths?
Well, I am a candidate. I'm proposing myself to be the leader in the race. And I look forward for the support of the membership, of the delegates, after we would have had I would have had the opportunity to speak to all of the members, because the members do inform the delegates with respect to the orientation of each group, how they should exercise their franchise. So whether dark, not so dark, or light, I am in the race.
Fantastic, Dr. Van Wishar's. And we know you might have been thinking about this for some time now. But what was the thing that made you decide you wanted to be the PNCR leader and to contest in this way? What was that catalyst?
Well, let me say to you that this did not emerge recently. Many people would recall that in 2011, after I returned home, I had started a campaign. And then Comrade Winston Murray emerged. He was here while I was working overseas. I'd done a lot of work here after I returned. And so we had a meeting, himself, Jeffrey Thomas and myself at OMG, actually. And I decided, look, Winston was already in the parliament. He is a capable professional. He's a committed comrade. I worked with him when I was a minister in the government of our country. And so I had no hesitation at that time in terms of making way for Winston to be the candidate. So I stepped back and gave him a pass to move on as leader. Unfortunately, as we know, he passed. And then I I always have been engaged in the politics of the country, and from the developmental aspects and the political aspects. So I came back, I campaigned in 2015, and we won. And I began looking at the party, looking at the country, and I felt that with my experience, which I've gathered over the years working in the international environment, in terms of growth and development, I felt that my experience will bring more currency to the organization of the party and the role it has to play in the development of the country. Even more now, I am convinced that my experience can lend in a significant manner to the orientation, the reorganization of the party for sustainable development in our country.
And what do you say to those people who look to your absence from the party and say that this makes you out of touch with what has happened in the crucible of struggle in the party and perhaps not better suited for leader of the party? How do you respond to those detractors?
I would say, on the contrary, working in it's not that I have not been in touch. I kept in touch because working in the International Civil Service, I was always home every year, and I was always connected with the party. During the time of Comrade Hoyt, Comrade Corbyn, I have been always connected. So, and if I am not, when I'm not home, sometimes when I come home during the period of Comrade Hoyt, we will meet at Congress Place Or if he's in the Caribbean, because at that time, in the 90s, late 90s, I was the officer responsible for the Eastern Caribbean. And so sometimes we would meet in St. Vincent because he would go to St. Vincent either for a CARICOM conference or some other multilateral event. And we will meet and we will discuss issues related to the development of the country. Every year I was home and worked. And just before coming home, I established an NGO looking at development in different areas and moving around trying to understand what are the issues at the bottom in terms of which affect growth and development of our people. So this is not something strange at all. This is what I understand. I've palpated the issues. I have gone into many communities that are poor. I have worked in many ways. In the earlier 80s, I did a lot of developmental work in the area of health, water, environment, food policy, medical education, etc. So the developmental issues are not strange to me. I know them, I palpated them. I interfaced with the communities throughout the length and breadth of the country. And then from 15 to 20, I impacted even more with GWI because I crisscrossed this country seeking to provide water in many of the communities. We provided the APNU AFC administration with my involvement as the managing director of GWI, provided access to more than 100,000 people with water.
Great. Fantastic. Talking about developmental issues, certainly you understand those of the PNCR. What policies or programs or plans you plan to bear, let's say the top 3 things, haven't been elected as PNCR leader in the next Congress?
Well, let me first say to you that my vision is that the PNCR as a political party has to be reorganized to play a more developmental role that impacts on development at a community level, at a regional level, and a national level. And so in terms of where we are as a party, I think I heard Sherrod certainly ensuring that we come together, we are a unified force. Because let me say to you, Sherrod, that I believe in coalition politics. But most critical to the coalition politics at the moment is the strength of the PNCR. And therefore, one of the important aspects is bringing our people together. Secondly, I think empowering our membership to be able to express themselves, not feel encumbered, and that becomes a currency for us in terms of bringing new ideas into the framework for development. But I want to say to you that the party as presently structured cannot respond effectively in a 21st century environment. It has to be reorganized. It has to be re-engineered. So how we
Reorganize how?
How we redefine the functions of the group, first of all. The group has to demonstrate its effectiveness within the community in which it resides. It has to show leadership. So the group has to understand the profile of the community, first of all, in which it resides. It has to understand how that is made up. It has to be able to build partnerships within that small space. And it has to also look at a number of areas, a number of sectors. For example, in all of the communities, there are schools. So recently, as I said in another interview, the results of the CXC and the grade 6 are out. To my mind, the group has to be able to analyze to see how the schools in their area perform. Did the children do well? Did the children, most of the children get grades 1 or 2s, or they got grades 3s and 4s? If that is so, then there must be a dialogue and link that dialogue with the entire community. So the community then begins to see leadership. You have many people in the community are unable to navigate the system for their TIN numbers, the NNIS numbers, etc. They are unable to, they don't know how to register their businesses, their small businesses, etc. So the group has to be that resource for community development across the country. But it has to have the capacity. Now, it cannot be left by itself. It has to be supported by a modern and effective secretariat. First of all, the secretariat has to provide that support to the group. Secondly, emanating out of the elections, you have councillors, parliamentarians, councillors at the RDC, at the NDC, and parliamentarians. Now, what has happened in the past and in the recent past? Our councillors are not prepared in a manner, and our parliamentarians are also not prepared in a manner. But you have to have sustainability in your preparedness of your members and supporters. So a continuous training of your members in terms of how do they function as an NDC councillor? How do they function as an RDC councillor? How do they function as a parliamentarian? So when we are organized and we move away from the issue of selection of people, because I'm a friend of X or Y, and we run in a democratic process primaries, whoever emerges out of the political democratic process of elections, that person is already prepared to function and to represent the people at the NDC level, at the RDC level, or in the parliament. But also, the party has to be organized to support in terms of doing sectoral analysis. The party has to have a series of subcommittees that are related to development, such as business and technology, oil and gas, socioeconomic issues that looks at inequities, financing, etc.
Interesting,
So,
yeah.
A legal subcommittee, because don't forget that this is a political organization. So if there are protests, the organization has to be in a state of readiness, its legal support to deal and represent its members if perchance the police acted in the way that they presently act and erode their human rights and their civil rights. So the whole reorganization of the party has to take a developmental eye. This then means it brings greater effectiveness to whether you are in government or not. And I agree with Shurwayne that election is a continuous process. So we don't wait for the point of elections to be training our agents. Our agents are trained all the time. They are tested. There's role playing. So when that time comes, we are in a state of readiness to do what we have to do for elections. But more so, remember, we are we are in the opposition, a government in waiting. So our effectiveness is crucial.
Yeah.
In terms of our performance, in terms of our analysis, in terms of our ideas that we place on the table, that our people can see the difference, the strategic difference that we bring to the table.
Dr. Van der Charles, having said that about the restructuring and the training and all of that, that Van der Charles, lead of the PNCR, would bring to bear, do you think you have what it takes to take on the PPP, for instance?
Of course, there is. Look, there are many ways of dealing politically with your opponent. As I said to you, protest action is one. But the issue in a democratic environment has to be your intellectual capacity, your analysis, your strategic approaches, and don't underestimate our people who are looking all the time. It is no secret that our people are asking for greater effectiveness of the opposition. When we look at, for example, let's take the floods. Clearly, the issue of the methodology used by the government in terms of the distribution was an efficient system of distribution that so many farmers, black farmers, Indian farmers, etc., were left off. And I think they now acknowledge.
An inefficient system.
Right. So what should happen is that the opposition should be thinking and bringing its supporters who are in the area to define more effective methodologies of distribution of these resources. Not stand on the sidelines, but place on the table and place in the public domain so the citizens can understand your strategic approach. The more they evaluate it and they can see that it is more effective, and they do not forget that. So that is where I am saying to you that your political organization has to be re-engineered to support what you guys do in Parliament and politically what we do on the ground. If we're not organized in that way, then we have an override by the governmental system. So we have to be strong. And this is, I think, as I said to you, the strength of the coalition links with the strength of the PNCR. But this is for the entire group of parties also within the coalition. But the strategic approach, for me at this point in time, must be clear for the PNCR.
Very well. Dr. Van der Charles, is there any truth to the idea that you would have wanted to or contemplated forming your own political party in the past?
No. I think people are confusing when I had a temporary sojourn to the AFC. And, well, what I can tell you anyway, it is the coalition with the AFC that brought us into government. So, and I am not the first one that may have left. You may then even say that the founder leader left the PPP and formed his own party. And you had many other people within the PNC who left and came back for different reasons. But I don't honestly see how that becomes an issue, because we are in a human system. We are in a dynamic system. So to be harping on that temporary departure and not understanding the experience that you bring to the table, to bring currency in support of the organization to represent the interest of the people, because this is not about power for the sake of the party. What we're talking about is about representation of the people, that the quality of life of our people. When you look at our country, we have 35% poverty. Therefore, we must, as a party, as a coalition, see that as a degree of urgency to address the means by which that is happening across the board. And it calls for a multivariate analysis in terms of the input, the allocation of resources to bring redress to some of those things. And if we are serious, we can hold the government to the till in more ways than one. You know, the grants that were given, say education grants, that for COVID, it really makes no sense. because it does not impact. I have no difficulty in ensuring that grants are given to families who are at the lower end of the round, who are having a significant difficulty. I met a woman recently in Berbice. She has 8 kids. Now, I don't know, and she is not in an upper middle class. And the first thing we may say that, well, she doesn't sleep, but that is nonsense. That is not our business. We have to work with her to guide her, etc. But the children are our citizens. So we have to be concerned as to how they're having an opportunity to grow into productive human beings. And therefore, the system has to look at that in what we do. You have pensioners. Some of the pensioners, we have to decide, we cannot say as a country, we have a minimum wage of $60,000, but the pensioner gets $20,000. And most of these pensioners are diabetic or hypertensive, and they have to purchase their strips and so forth if they're diabetics and so. So we have to look at this in a more reasoned way, in a more logical way, that we represent the caring that we're supposed to care. But it's imperative now, because we are having more resources, and the government needs to really be looking at its efficiency in the allocation of resources to impact and address issues in an equitable manner.
Dr. Venegas, as a follow up, just because I don't want us to stray too far. As a follow up, what would you say to those persons who might say, on the previous question of what you call a temporary sojourn from the party, that perhaps past behavior is a good indicator of future behavior? I'm trying to be the devil's advocate here.
No, because if you are focused on development, my previous behavior was not a behavior that departed from the vision and the objective of looking at the development of our people to improve the quality of life. And so my future vision and my future actions will continue to be, because if you look at my history, my work in life, it has been significantly in the area of development of people in Guyana, in the Caribbean, in Latin America and the Caribbean. So the focus, and remember I'm a physician, health is a resource for development. So my thinking, my actions cannot be divorced from the objective that we have determined for ourselves. So I think that's a bit of political wickedness.
Very well. You seem very recently to have come to the aid and defense of Roysdale Ford. I want to talk about that a little bit. What one newspaper or yourself termed as Aubrey Norton, referring to him as Johnny Come Lately in the party, and I think Roysdale was feeding off of some comments Aubrey had made, and Roysdale himself saying that the PNC rather cannot just be a black people party. And picking up on your comments in response to that, I think Newsroom said this, that you were particularly concerned about this Johnny Come Lately statement made by Mr. Aubrey Norton. You went on to say, according to the article, that they obviously don't know me. I've heard it recently with Aubrey and Roysdale, and it is an unfortunate statement that is attributed to you. Just last evening, I had the privilege of putting the very question to Mr. Aubrey Norton, and he said about your response to him that you should have been cautious. Are you not a cautious person?
Well, let me make a correction. I'm very cautious. I did say that both statements were unfortunate, because both statements, to my mind, went contra to the objectives of the party. And I said that, the issue of the Johnny Come Lately does not make sense, because people come to the fore with knowledge, and they bring different skills, etc. And I think Roysdale's comment was unfortunate in nuancing uh, Aubrey's behavior and probably hinting and allowing the listener to come to a conclusion thinking that he's a racist. My view is that both statements are unfortunate. And I want to say to you that most important for me is that this campaign has to be of high moral and ethical standards. It has to be one focused on the very first principle that we started to discuss, that of unity. We bring different skills, we have different experiences, but most important, it is not the reconstruction, the re-engineering cannot be done by ourselves. The leader has to be able to construct a team, a leadership team, but it has to be able to draw on the strength of its membership, to be able to listen to the perspectives, the voices of the members in terms of the policies that we arrive at. And all of these things have got to be evidence-based. So my experience has been working in the international arena. I go from, when I left Guyana, I went to Barbados. And I was responsible, as I said, for the programs for 13 countries. So I had to have a working relationship and a team relationship with the professionals who worked in Barbados to service these islands. And we had to build a team in each of the countries to ensure that we bring effect to the programs and the directions that we have designed. As I move to Jamaica, etc., I am meeting new people, but my capacity is to build a team so that we bring effect. And as I move to Bahamas, it's the same thing. And as I move to Washington. So my experience is that of building teams for leadership throughout my working life. And that is what I want to ensure and do. And I believe that where we are in terms of some of the changes, I believe that the leader's position should have term limits. And the positions of the members who are elected to the central exec should have term limits so that we can refresh and bring new ideas, new experiences into the system so that the party can sustain itself and respond to the changes in the national and global environments.
Very well.
The issue of code of ethics.
Very well, sir. This 21st biannual delegates conference for the PNCR is going to be a historic in the sense that that you have this hybrid system. We saw Mr. Granger, former president, just recently asking that the conference should be shifted in the light of COVID and all of that. Do you have confidence in the current process?
Well, let me say to you, when I went to Washington working with PAHO WHO, it was a new area created called Information and Knowledge Management, with responsibilities also for research and bioethics. I was the director, the area manager responsible for it, to devise its strategy, etc. Technology was one of the main issues to support access to knowledge, research, etc. When I started, we worked virtually introducing into an organization that had 38 countries, and we used the technology. We reduced travel, for example, travel costs by using the technology. And at that time, 2004-05, we were using dial-up systems. We didn't have a lot of the robust technology that we had. I remember I presented to a conference in Costa Rica when I had traveled to Egypt. I was in my room in Egypt and I presented to a conference in Costa Rica. So this is not something new. The hybrid system, it allows the participation. And I dare say to you that for us in Guyana in the 21st century, we should be having more access to technology for ourselves and especially for our young people. They need this platform for them to have new visions and do things in a different manner. So I don't envisage an issue with respect to hybrid because the technology is there. It is used. It was recently used in elections, in the Public Service Union, etc. It is used in CARICOM. So it's not an issue. I mean, if someone is uninformed and hasn't been exposed to the use of the technology, I certainly would expect the comment of concern and hesitancy. But I want to reassure everybody that the technology is there for us to function and make things. And in life, like everything else, technology sometimes fails. So you have to plan for that also, like everything else. If you are traveling in a boat, the engine may fail. So likewise, the technological platforms we use, we have to plan in case of. That's where good planning comes.
Dr. Van der Schalten, as a follow-up to that, a follow-up to the previous question, this is out of Village Voice, in which it is said, according to the report here, that in talking about pushing back or advising the party to push back the delegates' Congress, Mr. Granger also red flagged key members of the executives, saying that they should not play any part in the accreditation of delegates and nominated General Secretary Abner Ali as the Congress's administrator. The article reads that given reasons for objecting to the men, Granger accused them of being biased, even cited their alleged participation in meetings that resulted in no confidence motions being passed against him. Among the executive members that were red flagged, Aubrey Norton, Richard Van West Charles, Mr. Mortimer Mingo, and Mr. Winston Felix. So the question is, Dr. Charles, whether you would have participated in meetings that resulted in no confidence motions being passed against the current leader of the party.
Well, because of a number of issues which were occurring, and issues that are inimical to the healthy functioning of the party, a decision was made that our membership had to be informed. Remember, this is a political party. It is not operating as the Vatican. It is a party by which the membership must be informed at all times. It is for this reason that the biennial Congress is the top level of decision making by which the delegates sent by the membership for directions and decisions of the Congress. So the information given to our membership is of utmost importance. And a number of us understood that this was critical. And in sharing that information with the membership has their own perspective in terms of what has been going on. And none of us who informed the membership voted in terms of the motion. The members moved the motion of no confidence, and that was what was relayed. Because certainly, it is no secret, a number of issues which related to decisions should have come to the central exec for deliberation, but never came. So the central exec is the body in between congresses, in between general councils, that really provides the direction of the party. And this was a very, I'm going to be hyperbolic by saying it's a strange aberration that these things would occur and decisions made and the central exec uninformed. So those are behaviors within a democratic organization such as ours are a no-no. We have been elected by the members, and therefore we have a right to inform the membership of the perspective. Now, after having informed them as to what has gone on, it is the membership now to make a decision what they want to do. And in all cases, they called for the Congress to be had before the end of December 2021, and also they moved a motion of no confidence in the leader and the general secretary. But I think most important, if I were in his place, I would have taken a pause to try to understand the determinants of these drivers, why it occurred. And let me say to you that neither Aubrey nor myself had any intention of performing any role in any of the subcommittees. So he was totally off base. And so I see the comments as uninformed, and we have to move on.
Great. Dr. Van Rijsselt, you've had a couple of years to take a good look and even to work at the pleasure of David Granger when he was president. Are there things as party leader you would do differently from Mr. Granger? And are there things that you might have seen that you might say, hey, these are good features?
Yeah, well, let's start with things that I think that the aspect of consultation needed to be improved, and adherence to the Constitution needed to be focused on.
This is adherence to the party's constitution?
Party's constitution. I think ensuring the political direction of the party in relation to the parliamentary function should have been established in that way and not go the other way. Because the parliamentary arm by itself cannot bring effect to what is happening in the parliament. You really need the political analysis, the sectoral analysis, etc., to support the parliamentarians. Because we haven't got a system in the United States or in Britain where the parliamentarians by themselves will have a staff to be able to do research in the sectors that they represent, etc. But it is the party, in this case, in our case, that has to be organized in that manner to support the parliamentary arm for greater effectiveness in their debate and the strength of their role as a shadow government. That's one of the aspects. I think when I started off, I said empowerment to the voices of our members. That is very, very critical because it's a democratic organization. And to be able to listen and bring their voices in. Now, I functioned in the Central Exec in the 80s. And our general councils and in the Central Exec, exchanges were tough. People were questioned, ministers were questioned. So coming to the table with a different vision, I think, gives you greater strength. Now, yes, he had he was wedded to the issue of looking at the renewable energy. I think that is important. But I think we needed to analyze a bit more in terms of how we transition from hydrocarbon to renewable energy. And we have to be a bit cautious in that analysis. Because as we speak now, even the present administration is making a lot of mistakes with respect to the gas to shore project. I mean, this issue of a pipeline is a pipe dream, and it's money for people, friends, and family. But it doesn't help us when we look at Guyana and we look at the possibilities of industrialization in different parts of the country. The pipeline is not the most and the best effective ways of moving and having a most cost-effective manner to bring the power and energy at a lower cost to support industrialization in the country. So whilst I said it's a good approach to look at the renewable energy, I think he needed to have greater consultation in looking at the transition from the predominance of hydrocarbon and the developmental perspectives of the country and what is going to come. So I don't think that, although it was a noble objective, it was well thought out. And
Very well.
The cultures, I think, working in a civilian environment is different to working in a military environment. And I think that was one of the unfortunate things, I would say. Look, and how I work, Sherrod, I have to be free to express my views. I am not saying I'm right. And these are my views and how you asked me how I saw it. So I would expect in how I work that if you differ from me, you come back to me. But don't take quiet actions against me. I want good intellectual exchange. I want evidence in terms of the debate in moving us forward.
Very well, Dr. Charles. That being said, you've been underground, you're moving around, you're talking with party members, you're engaging with prospective delegates, you're talking to communities. What have you been hearing out there? Our penultimate question.
Well, let me say to you that most important, what I'm trying to get to also, because our population is about 65% of young people, any party such as ours in the 21st century has to understand the perspective of young people and how it is organized to give young people the opportunity to achieve their vision and what they expect from us. So I have been doing some of that. I've been talking to some young people. I hope to do more of that. But I am also talking and listening to our members, because not all the perspectives I have may be right. And although I prescribe as a physician, in development, you are not prescriptive. So I want to ensure that we engage, we discuss, because the environment from one region to the other is not the same, and how we should be organized. And one of the things for us has to be how the party creates opportunity across the country for people, whether we are in government or not, to support their own development. Because Forbes Burnham spoke to the issue very clearly, very well into the concept of independence. For him, independence is not about singularly a passport, a birth certificate, etc., etc. Most critical is our economic independence at a national level, at a regional level, and at an individual level. So the language of the party has to be one that speaks to the creation of wealth for all of us. And that's why this issue of poverty that we have right now has to be a front burner issue in how we work to allow these comrades to emerge with a different vision. Some of the young people who have come out of schools, who have the school system in many ways failed them because of the socioeconomic block that they came from. And that's a reality. And so when you look at a country like Singapore and you consider their investment in education and what they did in terms of impacting on the capacity of human capital in that country, that contributed to a turnaround, a significant turnaround. We have to understand where education is, where health is in terms of supporting. And let me say to you, a lot of our young people who want to get on board in terms of their own economic independence, there is no access to capital for them to establish their own businesses. There is no support to provide them the opportunity as they establish their businesses. There is no support to even bring them together as cooperatives to respond to a market in the Caribbean, although we have a free trade environment. So the whole reorientation of government in terms of how you drive creation of wealth. And I would hope that the private sector should begin to understand and look at some of these issues and bring learning from each of the institutions to make this thing a better environment for all of us.
Great. Our final question for the evening, Dr. Van West Charles. Lots of folks are watching us this evening. You are candidate for leader of the PNCR. You have as well Joseph Harmon. You have Aubrey Norton. Why should persons, in the final analysis, vote for Dr. Richard Van West Charles for leader of the PNCR? If you had to find one thing to say, this is why, this gives me the edge over my competitors, what would that be, sir?
My experience working in growth and sustainable development, which is so critical for the development of Guyana at this point in time, with the resources that we have, to ensure that we all can have a better quality of life.
Very well. Dr. Richard Van West Charles, I want to thank you for availing yourself to our program this evening, for coming into the ring and for sharing your thoughts and your insights on these many questions I've posed to you this evening, sir. Thank you very much.
Sherrod, look, I really want to thank you. And if your viewers or yourself would have any other questions for me, please, I am free and available to answer them at any time. You can send either to you and you can share them with me, or richard.vanwestcharles@gmail.com.
Or we're going to have you back.
Thank you. Certainly.
There's that too.
That's right.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Good night
Have
to
a
your
great
viewers and good night to your listeners.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Folks, and that's it. The one and only Dr. Richard Van West Charles laying out his case before you, why he is better suited, why he is better positioned to become the next leader of the PNCR. We promise you the personalities, we promise you the candidates, and Dr. Richard Van West Charles has declared his candidacy for leader of the party. He is making the rounds in communities, talking with members of the party, talking with prospective delegates, and we want to thank him and his campaign for availing him to us this evening. We're definitely going to have him back again once or twice or a couple times more before we get to the Congress there, and we're going to have some other folks from his camp who are going to be stopping by to giving us some more information and more insights, guys. But that's our program for this evening, and we really want to thank Doc for coming by and for spending this time with us. Folks, we got to fight. We got to fight. We can't give up. We got to fight. And Dr. Richard Van West Charles is one of those persons who want to fight on behalf of his party, including Aubrey Norton and Joseph Harmon, all the other folks. We're not only going to be talking with the folks for the top leadership, but those persons who are going to be contesting for General Secretary and all the other posts there, guys. So this is the place to be tuned into as we go down the road, folks. We promised you it, and we're going to be bringing it to you guys night after night. Thanks for joining us here in the ring this evening. I'm going to stick around for a couple minutes and talk to a couple of folks before we go. PNCR decides 2021, the road to the 21st biannual delegates conference. So we're going to be bringing you more and more insight each and every night we are on air. Thanks for joining us, guys. That being said, we really want to thank all of the other folks who joined us this evening, who stayed with us. Guys, thank you so much. We thank you. And as you guys go off to other places or other shows, we want to ask you guys to share the live stream, share, so as many persons, folks, get the valid and credible information from the candidates themselves. This is not what the newspapers are distilling or trying to distill and watering down. This is from the candidates themselves, and this is how we want to have it. Again, thank you so much to Dr. Richard Van der Charles Camp for allowing him to come on this evening, and for him for coming on, not allowing him to come on, but for allowing us to have the candidate this evening. We are so grateful, guys. Let's fight. We gotta fight. We gotta keep fighting. So grateful to see all of you guys who came in the ring this evening. Lovely folks like Angela McDonald and Abiola Clark still with us. Denise London Welshman and Janet Edwards. Fantastic folks. Candy, Nelene Inderjeet, and Alita Warwick. Good to see you, Alita. All you other great folks. Yolanda, see you there. Good to see you there. Michelle Williams, Doc, how you doing? Good to see you as well. Vanessa Calendar. Guys, thanks for staying with us. This is how we're going to be doing it. Bringing you more information, bringing you the personalities, bringing you the candidates, bringing you the issues, guys. So when you come in the ring, walk with your little water bottle, your little flask with your tea, your tooth dry down, your little pizza, your popcorn, and your cokes is a must. Your popcorn and your cokes are a must, according to the English language, but we know it is a must. Joylyn Cook, great to see you as well, and all you other fantastic folks. Chanel Smith Daniels, great to see you up. I know you go to bed very early, Chanel, so it's great to see you up. Great to have all of you guys in the ring still this evening. Great to have all of you on board with us, and we're happy, really happy that you guys are having this opportunity, as I say, to size up the candidates. Lots of delegates are watching, lots of delegates are tuned in, and we're happy that the candidates are availing themselves to come and to put their platforms to you, to put their plans to you, and you guys have a chance to assimilate that, and at the end of the day, make an intelligent choice so that we can move the PNC forward, move the coalition forward, move this country forward. That being said, folks, that is all we have for you guys this evening. Chanel. That's all we have for you guys this evening. Stay safe. Thanks for joining us.